Hey everyone, this is David B., and I'm back home in Pennsylvania after about 6 months of working in Delaware. And actually, I've been home for a few weeks now, but I just finally got my computer set up, arranged again with my lights and my microphone and everything. So hopefully, I'll be able to start making more videos now that I've done this. In today's video, I want to talk about the idea of focusing on one language versus studying many languages at the same time. And in particular, right now, I'm in a period where I have some time off between my seasonal work. And so I essentially have almost unlimited time to study languages. And there's a number of languages I've studied to, I would say, a upper beginner to intermediate level for input. Those languages are German, Esperanto, Mandarin Chinese, French, and Spanish. And there's a handful of other languages I'd like to dabble in more. I recently became interested in Swedish and Dutch, and those are languages that I'd eventually like to bring up to that kind of level where I can do some basic reading and listening and enjoy the languages using real content. But for right now, let's say I'm focusing on those other languages I mentioned that I'm already at a level where I can use authentic materials as input. One thing I've noticed about myself is that on any given day, there's usually one language that is my focus. So for example, for the past couple days, I've really been focused on French. And I'm not really sure why. For some reason, for one day, I wanted to read the book The Stranger by Albert Camus in the original French. And so I imported that text into Link and read the whole book. And I've also been studying the grammar of French a little bit each day and just putting a lot of effort into French. Now, if you ask me a week from now what language I'm interested in, maybe it'll be German again, or maybe it'll be Chinese. But what I found for myself is what I need to do, or what gives me the best results, is to sort of follow that impulse. So right now I want to study French, so I put my focus on French. And while I'm learning French, I don't really have much desire to expand my skills in the other languages as far as like memorizing vocabulary or learning new grammar rules. But what I found is that I can keep improving in the other languages by doing input in those languages. So watching videos, just reading a couple pages in those languages, listening to music, writing down, copying, just writing by hand things from books or song lyrics, just doing those kinds of exercises where I'm not even feeling like I'm trying to expand my horizon in those languages. I'm just sort of enjoying the languages, just doing some reading, doing some listening, and I find that I still make progress in those languages, even though my main effort remains on French right now. I think this is an important point because if I were to sit down and map out on paper what I should be doing each day, I might say, well, let me do an hour of French, and then an hour of German, then an hour of Chinese, then an hour of Spanish, then an hour of Esperanto. But I know I won't do that. I won't be able to follow that kind of plan because right now it's more like I'd like to do 3 hours of French and then maybe read Esperanto for 10 minutes or listen to a couple German songs and then read part of a German short story for 15 minutes. I think this is the best strategy for me, but let me know in the comments, are you learning multiple languages and how do you balance them and how do you handle having more of an interest in one language rather than another? And does that come and go? I'm going to keep using this method because I know that it works for me and it's something that I will stick with. And I think with language learning, that's one of the most important things, that you're following a plan that you're going to stick with day after day so that you're not having extended periods of time where you're doing nothing. I think making a little progress each day is when we make the greatest progress in the long term. So let me know what you think, and thanks for watching. This is David B.